And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. We got a big show tonight, TigerBait Live. Obviously, it's a big LSU weekend of sports. That's the title of the show. Opening weekend of LSU baseball, Milwaukee, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the big one, Valentine's Day night in the PMAC, sold out. Crazy aftermarket prices to try and get in the PMAC to see LSU host South Carolina. And is this the year that they get it done? We'll wait and see. And I think at some point in the show, we're going to go on a heavy rant. I know I need probably a minute and a half unabated with everything I want to say about LSU men's basketball in the future. And my cohort buddy Songy is going to have something to say as well about it, no doubt, because we talked about it on his show earlier today. If you're enjoying the show, at any time in the show, please hit the like button. And, of course, hit the subscription button if you haven't already subscribed. And follow us on Facebook if you happen to be watching us there. We're streaming both on YouTube and on Facebook. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. It is over, folks. Football season officially over. A snoozer of a Super Bowl. And, gosh, Mike, one thing that I saw this year, Indiana and Miami, a lot of defense. That's how they got there. Seattle got there with defense. Oh, by the way, anybody beating up Will Campbell, I understand that, but New England's got to give him help. Of course, Caleb on Chason, Keyshawn Butte, Will Campbell on the losing end. Anthony Bradford, I think Anthony Bradford was like way over 350 when LSU signed him, kind of behind the depth chart, and then lost some weight, got in there. But Super Bowl's done, football is done, transitioning, baseball loaded as your best friend that goes to Superior Grill and has 3 margaritas on a Friday night. That's how loaded LSU is in baseball. We'll talk pitchers. We'll talk position players, as you alluded to. Wearing the black shirt tonight because there is a blackout.
You guys explain that to us. Buddy and I and other
Saturday night.
Jacques, Chessa, we've all been kind of talking about it. Explain the blackout to us. I don't know what that does. Is that supposed to look good on TV? I understand the whiteout, I understand the gold and how that just blankets the stadium and is bright and does its part on TV. But why black? Unless there's a nice big something bright on the black shirt that stands out. I don't get it.
They did wear the black jerseys one other time this year at Georgia on the road. Kim Mulkey on the radio show last night did say there will be a blackout. Anybody sitting in the lower bowl, there will be some black T-shirts. I don't know about
Why do you want to do that? It makes it look like the PMAC when McMahon's team's playing.
Well, now, if you want a real blackout, you ought to have the men's basketball games blacked out because that's hard to watch. We joined it last night. It was 10-2. As soon as they got into it, it was 12-2. I went on my rant earlier today. Mike will go on his rant. But look, if you're caring about LSU men's basketball, I don't know what kind of commitment LSU athletics makes towards that.
Let's do some segments here. You want to start? What's the first segment you want to do?
Whatever you. This is your show.
You want to do a baseball block?
Yeah, do a baseball block.
We're going to do LSU women's basketball fans. We're going to do a women's basketball block. But we're going to start with baseball. This is what everybody's been looking forward to, defending national championships. Milwaukee, 2 o'clock Friday, an LSU baseball team that's loaded. Maybe doesn't necessarily have the 1-2 ace punch. Is Casey Evans a guy that can go and do what Kay did last year? I don't know. It's nice to see Gavin Guidry back throwing. I was out there Friday and filmed that scrimmage. Infield, outfielders, so many to count. A new first baseman that when he connects with the baseball, it's a sound like you've heard from every power hitter in LSU history. It's different. I think my biggest question mark is catcher.
Yeah. Well, look, in case you do not know, 2 o'clock on Friday, 1 o'clock on Saturday, 1 o'clock on Sunday. They will also play 2-day games next week, Monday and Wednesday. Had Ben McDonald on the show, as always, nothing but joy to listen to him. Kate Anderson and Anthony Ison won 24 games between them last year. They don't have the 1-2 punch at this point. Kason Evans, a kid from Kansas, Cooper Moore. And then you got a bunch of pitchers. But let's just kind of go through the lineup right now. All of this will be tweaked, but you're going to get a chance to see a lot of players. And we start off at catcher Cade Arambidi, and they really, really like. He learned a lot of nuances of catching last year from Luis Hernandez, but now this is all on him. They will use Omar Cerna, a big strapping 6'2", 245-pound catcher that can hit the cover off the ball. So you talk about catcher. Then you got Eddie Yeaman, who's also a guy that can play first base and catcher. So I think they're going to be okay over at catcher. Big Papa is his nickname. Zach York coming over from Grand Canyon, 6'2", 295. But after he eats the pregame meal, he's close to 300. Have you ever seen, we ask this question to every media people, have
Ronnie,
we ever seen a 300-pound baseball player? And he's the closest thing we will to see one.
I did Ronnie Rance's show a couple of Saturdays ago, and he said, "What do you think he weighs?" I said, "Man, he don't look that heavy to me. He looks too." He goes, "That's what a skinny guy would say. He's all of close to 300."
Yeah.
And
but it doesn't hurt him, and he doesn't look 300. He wears it well, and so. But he can field, and as you alluded to, he's going to hit some home runs. John Pearson, Josh's brother's also got a little first base. Some other guys over there. Second base, Seth Dardar. This is a kid from Kansas State.
like him. We had a great interview last week.
Great interview. Loved him. Grew up in New Orleans. Went to Columbia. Played 1 year at Kansas State. Hit a home run off of Kate Anderson last year. As soon as he got in the portal, Jay Johnson, one of the first guys to call him. This was his dream to come in. He'll be at second base. Also, Braden Simpson and Tanner Reeves. And then the Monster Man, Monster Milam, Stephen Milam. You always talk about whether a guy's 6 foot as a quarterback. What do you think Monster Milam truly is height-wise?
5'7".
Is he a 5'8" guy like me?
He might be 5'8".
I used to be 5'9", and as I got older,
I'm gonna say
5'8".
I'm gonna think 5'7" though.
But look, only made 5 errors last year. Hits both ways, switch hitting with power, and I think that he's going to give the leadership. And then Trent Caraway, a guy from Oregon State that is well-versed, got a great reputation, hit 6 home runs last year in the postseason for Oregon State. They do have some bigger ballparks. And then in the outfield, Stanfield at left field, Derek Curriel, who's got about 15 pounds of Scarborough upper body added to his body at center, and then Jake Brown, another guy.
Jake Brown's huge.
That is over 200, and he has lifted. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. Simpson could be a DH, but there's so many new players.
Man, you go back to Milam, though. I'm just thinking about it. A guy at his height and stature, and you think about how epic he's been defensively in the infield. You know.
And clutch hitting, too.
And he skies for the ball when he has to, right? He's got a vertical. I mean, has there ever been a point where he's had an error or something you said, that's why you don't want a guy that height there? You've never said that since he's been here, whether it was second base or short.
Yeah.
So.
And then, look, it's going to take them a little while to turn the double play and get all that worked out. But in the outfield, they're going to track down anything. Braun is a freshman coming in that they really like. He's been hitting the cover off the ball. Obviously, we know Simpson is a guy that came over, hit a lot of home runs. Mike, they hit 103 last year, 103 home runs. They batted 296 as a batting average. But here's the key. Last year, for the first time in a long time, under 4 ERA, 3.73. We'll get into the pitchers, but let's chop it up on this baseball team. It is the most positive thing going on. And is it fair to say that you've already booked your reservations to Omaha?
If I was going, yes.
Okay.
But I think they're going there.
There's no doubt about it.
But, you know, it's getting to the point now where it's like Omaha or bust. When you won 2 out of the last 3, it's almost like national championship or bust. It's like the expectations are just off the chain. All right, let's dive in. Fire 3449 says, hit the like button, guys. Absolutely, thank you. At Big Train Kiffin, good evening, Mike, Buddy, and fellow TigerBait BFFs. And he asked how we feeling about this baseball season. We dove into that already. And Fizz Buzz says, should be fun to watch this year. High hopes for a repeat. And, Big Train Kiffin. Hard to repeat, but I think they can make it to Omaha. as long as things go right. As of right now, I was asking the other day, like, I'm unaware of any little injury right now. I mean, we'll ask tomorrow. We get Jay and selected players. And by the way, tomorrow is the first episode of the Batter Up Show with Kendall Rogers, so be on the lookout for that sometime tomorrow. Debbie Gaspard says this is going to be a great show. Thank you.
Hey, by the way, real quick, Ben McDonald did tell me Marcos Paz, who is a freshman phenom pitcher, is not 100% right now, but that's the only guy. He wears number 97, got a lot of potential. Mike, there's so many arms. You mentioned Gavin Guidry. Nobody knows his role right now, but they've got a bunch of smoke throwers. And look, when you start talking about Nate Yeske and the job he did, and yes, I'm the DA that got on him because he was throwing so many fastballs early on in the season. He developed those guys. He got them all adding a different pitch, an extra pitch, an out pitch. But, man, this is going to be fun to watch. And this is a great thing about that early schedule. You will see a lot of these young guys, but Jay and most coaches generally like to have their roles established by the start of SEC, which is about a month away. I looked at it today. I think about from Saturday, something like March 14th, LSU opens up at Vandy with the SEC. Always a tough schedule in conference play.
I want to give a shout-out and a thanks to Gia Picarella, who shot most of the scrimmage footage that you saw of LSU baseball here on our YouTube channel. I shot Friday, and there's a little bit of a learning curve shooting baseball. It's very, very difficult, especially once the season starts, because you're relegated to the third base line and following the ball, everything. And then that net gets in the way. Of course, season ticket holders already complain about that net enough. But your camera wants to autofocus on the net, and it makes other things blurry. Baseball is probably the most difficult sport to film for us in the media.
New Intimidators up 8 years celebrating national champions. It's hard to believe that Jay has already won 2 so quickly. And back to Omaha or bust, Mike, if you take care of business and you host a regional and a super regional, I don't know too many teams right now that would want to come in and play LSU in a super regional. But health, development of pitchers, and all the things that you don't know about leadership, chemistry, togetherness, all those sappy stuff. But, man, I like the way Coach Johnson has. He doesn't put up with any BS, doesn't put up with any drama. Those guys know it. And this team is reloaded, and there are a bunch of freshman phenoms. You're going to be good for another 2-3 years in the near future. It's just the way he does business, Mike.
Bart Smokey says the biggest question is second base. So he doesn't have might not have a whole lot of confidence in Tanner Reeves.
No, well, Seth Dardar is going to probably start, and then Simpson could play second base, and Tanner Reeves is the third guy. So
yeah,
that's Bart. I think you're going to enjoy seeing the different players. And once again, I can't wait to see Couriel and Jake Brown. We were talking to Ben yesterday about this. When you put that muscle on up top, it doesn't make you better with hand-eye coordination. You still have to see the curveball, the sinker, the fastball, and line up your hands and your body and your bat. But, man, when you do get bigger and you get that 10 or 15 pounds of upper body, Derek Couriel hit 7 home runs last year. I've got him hitting double digits this year.
Who is your who you giving the nod for DH?
Simpson is one of the guys. Braun's a guy. There's going to be 4 or 5 candidates for that.
Yep. All right. Let's. I need to do this right now. Let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm Little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection, and on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
That's it, 855-PRIDE-16. And when you call them at that number and for your free roof inspection, say TigerBait, they're going to give you TigerBait Premium free for a year. We had several customers that got it last week, and I've got one more that I need to get them set up. And so that deal has been running for years and years, and it's you just cannot beat it. You're not obligated to do anything. Just give them a chance to earn your business if you need a new roof, commercial or residential. Of course, main branch in Hammond, branch here in Baton Rouge, and owned and operated Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez. Mike Faraday, of course, grew up with him, known him my entire life, know better people than him and his family, and Broadmoor High and an LSU grad. So there you go. New Orleans, the North Shore, Thibodaux, Houma, anywhere in southeast Louisiana, they've got you covered. Florida parishes, the works, Pride Roofing. And need to talk about the fine folks over at Genesis of Lafayette. You see it right there on the screen. Look at that. 2.99 APR for 48 months on any new 2026 Genesis G70, G80, G90, GV70, or GV80. 3.99 for 60 months, 4.99 APR for 72 months. And Genesis of Lafayette, of course, your premier luxury dealership offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region. Located at 6600 Johnson Street, right off Broussard. And they will exceed your expectations. Shop online at genesisoflafayette.com or call them at 877-856-2961. And please tell them TigerBait sent you in. Jaron Guidry and his sales staff are out of this world, and huge LSU fans, huge LSU baseball fans. They're excited, as all of you are. Let them earn your business. I don't care where you're at in Louisiana. If you're looking for a new Genesis vehicle, let them find it for you and make that deal for you.
Back to Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing. Mike and Joby just got a new roof on an old house. I'm getting a new roof on my house, folks. Not only are they great sponsors, but we do business with them. Residential, commercial, metal roofs continue to be hot. They've changed the metal roofing business with the acquisition of Crown Metals. 1-855-PRIDE-16. Give them an opportunity. You won't be disappointed. 1-855-PRIDE-16. Tell him this guy and this guy sent you over to Pride Roofing.
Yep. Barry Barbier says, Andy Canizero says they are a lock for Omaha. I hope he's right. And Shannon Ray says she is ready to see William Smith. A lot of people are.
This kid from Catholic High has that it factor. You know, you talk about that quarterback and he's got that it factor. When William Schmidt gets confident that he can throw the baseball where he wants to and locate. Unbelievable 12-6 curveball. Got great stuff. But when that light goes on, and I think it could happen just like it did with Chase Shores. You remember Chase Shores coming back? Now, he was coming back from injury. Schmidt's just coming back from a heart that's hurt because that was a rough freshman year. He started 7-0 and struggled at the end. But once he gets his confidence, man, he's going to be a big factor in that bullpen or as a starter.
Do you even think about it, or does it even matter at this point? You know, everybody likes to say, how often is Jay going to tinker with the lineup? And since he's been here, he does it a lot. Does it even faze anybody anymore? Because he always seems to push the right buttons.
I was going to say, when a man's won 2 or 3 national champions, you can sit in your lazy boy and drinking whatever you're drinking and say, why is he doing that? I think it's beyond any of us to question him. That's like me with Yeski. I question Yeski if he's bringing him out, and look what he did. But the proof is in the pudding. Jay Johnson, the only bitch that I've heard from people from last year, you remember? Rain. We got rain. They let them.
That is the only aggravation with him.
They let them sit in the box last year.
What was the time? 10:03.
2.5 to 3 hours one night, and a lot of them left. But he is very smart. He does not want to start a pitcher. All of a sudden, he get 1 through 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and here comes rain.
What was the famous time? Is it 103 or what?
Yeah, somebody remind us that. 1 something in the morning when those games ended up. But that's the only thing you can really gripe about it. And look, he's got weather help. So I don't know if we're going to get rain this weekend, but there will be times where you're going to have some delays. But I think he's proven that his strategy is well worth it.
Dr. John Sibley Butler comes swinging in with from the high ropes with in the wrestling ring with the $50 super chat. Thank you, Dr. Butler. He says, are there better college baseball players because of NIL? Players who once jumped to the pros are now going to the college game. Is it significant? Yeah, it is. I mean, how often are we hearing it? Jay talks about it all the time where, MLB teams are not sinking as much into their farm system because they're seeing the benefits of the college player, right?
Yeah. Well, and look, Dr. Butler is so right. He told us, by the way, that Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers would win in Baton Rouge. He also told us but the Lady Horns were going to win over there in Austin.
I had LSU losing in Austin by 7. And that,
you did. You called it right there. You had a great call on it, my man.
But if they ended up losing by how many? It was in the teens.
Yeah, it was more than that. It got to be 12 or 14 at the end.
Yeah.
But back to the comment, there is no doubt that these kids are making more in NIL than, like Seth Dordar's a guy that could have gone pro. He's back. A lot of guys that would go pro are now playing that last year in baseball because of NIL.
Yeah.
So it obviously is going to make the teams deeper. And I'm telling you, folks, when you look at this roster this year, there are not many slouches. Yeah, there's some pitchers that you don't know where they're going to find out their role with. But like our lady friend said, William Schmidt, man, if they get him right, he's a difference maker.
Dr. Butler, I know what he thinks. I guarantee you he's all about LSU repeating.
Yeah.
He's very positive.
Well, you know he wants to see his buddy Schlossnagle and Nolan Kane breaking bread with you, Chris Giott, and all the Tiger fans in Omaha this year. Take the wife to Omaha for summer vacation.
I'm going to talk to Kendall about it tomorrow. But, again, whether it's football or whatever, it seems Texas always seems to get the greatest schedule. They've got, of all the higher ranked SEC teams, top 10, top 15, Texas has the easiest path if you look at the schedules right now. But look, that can change. Some teams get hot and are going to be better than you think. But LSU's up there top 2 or 3 as far as tough schedules.
Interesting, for those of you who have forgotten, Tony Vitello has gone out west to coach the San Francisco Giants. He's not the bad boy. LSU playing at Tennessee this year in that little bitty ballpark. Interesting to see how that will play. I don't know the Tennessee's coach off by off the tip of my hat, but they're going to be good. But look, man, SEC, you know how it is, Mike. There are going to be 5 SEC teams in the top 12 right out of the gate.
Yep. Dr. Butler, thank you so much for that. Are you coming in for the game this Saturday? If so, let us know. Would love to meet you in pregame if you're there. All right, let's see. Kelly Watley, great show, guys. Thank you for that. Eric DeLion says, I have an aggravation also. Jay loves to play games during work hours like this Friday at 2 p.m. Did you see what Jay tweeted out a few hours ago? It was a printable permission slip, and that you fill in your name, and I guess you can bring it to work and tell your boss that Jay Johnson is giving you permission to miss work or school or whatever on Friday. So,
but have you and any of the
that's
media,
pretty funny.
Have y'all asked him before? Because this is what my mindset.
I think that's better marketing than black T-shirts and the PMAC.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. But here's what my mindset is thinking. Okay, you play at 2:00, you finish at 5:30 or thereabouts. You wrap up, you eat. All of a sudden, 7:30, 8 o'clock, you got to play at 1 o'clock the next day. You go at 6:30, all of a sudden, you're appreciably later. That's 4 or 5 hours later. And so, we're talking about recovery time. We're talking about pitchers. We're talking about all that. But the next time, maybe tomorrow at 11 o'clock, say, hey, Coach, the fans want to know the basic reason why you moved a lot of these early season games to an afternoon start. And I know he's explained it before, but I can't remember exactly.
Well, a lot of it, like right now, it's odd. You mentioned it when you pulled in the driveway. We're almost 80 degrees today.
Yeah.
But typically, the first weekend, and I don't even look at the forecast, typically at night on a Friday night in the first opening weekend, it's like, with a wind chill, it's like 40. I think that's part of it. He wants to get the games in because of the cold weather.
Well, I was going to make a smart-ass comment about Matt McMahon and LSU basketball might ought to be.
Yeah, hold on to it. Hold on to it.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do a total bitch fest here in a little bit.
Well, that's your baby tonight.
All right. Yeah, that's it, bar smoke. He didn't want to chance 30 degrees at night. Yeah, that's the whole deal. And that's why he'll play in the afternoon on Saturday.
And don't forget now, when they get into regional and super regional, they got that Friday game at 2 o'clock. You know, it used to never be that. There's a method to the madness.
Oh,
folks.
yeah, no. And that's, hasn't that proven out to him?
Absolutely. Hard to question the man on a lot of things. He's been just phenomenal. Mike and I talk about it. But I got to ask you this, and we're
Now,
going
it's no fun for us when a game ends at 1:30 in the morning, and I'm waiting for the post-game video to upload it for you guys, and it begins to be 2:30 in the morning.
Somebody give us the time. It was either 1:11 or 1:14 or whatever. There were two or three games that ended at Cat. I know you probably remember that. Send that to us. But and then, of course, in the pitching, Mike, once again.
Don't give me that 6-7 stuff.
But once again, from a pitching standpoint, that's why you have the delays on when there's possible weather. He's not going to burn a guy in an important game and then let rain come out and rain for an hour, and you can't go back to the guy.
Y'all do me a favor. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. It really, really helps us with the algorithm. And share it. Please, if you share it to your Facebook wall, text the link out to your fellow LSU fans. Let them know we're live. We're going to go for another half hour right till 7 o'clock. Yeah, 1:17 a.m.
1:17, okay.
Yep.
And I knew it was somewhere in that neighborhood.
Thank you, Big Train. Eric DeLion, Mike, I would like to hear Buddy's odds on LSU going back-to-back. I say 1 out of 4.
Well, Mike and I go a long ways back, so I'm not going to give you any kind of percentage. Thomas Pittman, 80% to LSU. He still kids me about that. Look, I don't know what the percentage is. I'm going to have the same mindset that I had before football or basketball or women's basketball, gymnastics, or softball, whatever. I want to see how they look, but, man, on paper, I certainly think that they are a lock to get to Omaha. You still got to do it. And as we keep saying, it's about the process, not the outcome at this point. But when you get over there, you don't know what bracket you're going to be in. You don't know the health of your pitchers. You don't know if the guys are peaking at the right time. You really have to be hitting the ball and playing smart defense and all that. But, man, the way every day, that mindset, very favorable comparisons to Jay Johnson, in my opinion, to watching Nick Saban, what he did in football. Now watching Jay Johnson, I see a lot of Saban, I guess you could say, personality traits with Jay Johnson.
Yeah, and you see it with Lane Kiffin. There's a lot of Nick Saban. You mentioned the 80-20. What was it? How many years later? 15 around that mark where I had the 5 for 5. So we're even.
Well, everybody had the 5 for 5.
Everybody was the 5 for 5.
But
that was a Frank Wilson special, by the way. Just so you know, we all got the call from Frank saying we're going 5 for 5. That's why every one of us that covered recruiting at the time, y'all were ready to beat us over the head with an anvil that night.
But they did get the two guys, Leonard Fournette and Jamal Adams, and so that was certainly two that you needed. Predictions on all that, but I mean, it's kind of tough not to predict them to be to Omaha. But once you get to Omaha, you got to get some breaks. And, you know, Ben and I talked about this. I've got a list of 6 guys last year. Brandon Cooper was on the top of the list. And, folks, Mike and I talked about it today. If they continue to struggle with consistency on balls and strikes, and you know what? The world is being taken over by AI right now, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? We're going to see robots in the Major League Baseball.
Give me a rundown. You know the names by heart. Buddy was listing.
No, I don't want to. Jeff Head is one of them, and I'd like to punch his head. But what I'm telling you is that robots, if they continue to have this pathetic balls and strikes, robots are coming to the MLB next year or maybe this year, Ben told me. And
y'all give us in the comments if you're all for robots. And
I hate to take the human element out, but
I would like to see it tested. Why not do it in one of these tournaments? You know, do it in preseason. Test it. Do it in Hoover.
And there's one other little tidbit that we need to add on this. Ben talked about this. You can touch your helmet and question a call. You know how they're doing this in basketball now where Jay Reachard said, challenge it, coach. I didn't touch it. And they go back and challenge it. And Kim Mulkey says, don't lie to me because I don't want to lose a timeout. But I think there are going to be 3 challenges by touching the helmet this year. Each
I like
team
it.
has 3 challenges. I think that's on balls and strikes this year. So we'll get into all of the nuances of the new rules. But, man, I don't want to see robots, but I don't want to see really poor home plate umpiring last year. And I am sorry. There were a couple of guys that really had it out for LSU pitchers. And, it destroys a pitcher. Man, you throw one on a curve at the corner, a 2-2, and then you groove one and hit a home run, that gives you a case of screaming Reds.
All right, here it is on your screen, Alumni Hall, everybody. It's the place to go to get all your LSU gear. And if you're going to be at Alex Box this weekend, you're taking the little one, and you're looking for the authentic LSU Nike LSU baseball jerseys, they've got them all. They've got them in U sizes. They got the grays, the white pinstripe, the gold, the purple, any color you want. They've got the official Nike jerseys for LSU baseball. They got all the lane train gear, that and so much more. They got great hats. They got the branded Bill hats that just came in. And that's why you need to get over to Alumni Hall, their beautiful store in Perkins Rowe. And like I tell you each and every week, all one word, TigerBait, whether you're shopping online at alumnihall.com or in store. If you say TigerBait, you're going to get 10% off every time you shop there. And there's no limit to how many times you can go to the register and say TigerBait. So if you're a regular consumer of LSU gear, always go to Alumni Hall. They have the best selection, and you can get 10% off every single time. And Hall Pass rewards, for every $150 you spent, you get $10 reward for future purposes. So if you do that and you get the 10%, there's no reason why you should not shop at Alumni Hall. They give back. They're in the NIL space with LSU athletes. And everything you need for a man cave, all the new Nike stuff, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and much more at Alumni Hall. And Stroube's, you're in town this weekend for opening weekend, get over to Stroube's. Of course, it is Valentine's Day. It might be tough because of Valentine's Day, but check and see. It's, of course, located at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. Great seafood, great steaks, USDA prime black Angus, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. They've got the dry-aged pork chop, redfish, duck Louisiana, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroube's.com and let them know that TigerBait sent you in.
I like the pork chop. You like the steak. They do a great job of getting you in and out with reservations, parking, all of that. Give them a call before that hostess will direct you in, and a fantastic, consistent night anytime you go down there.
All right, I want to talk about men's basketball, and then I don't know how long we're going to do it. Probably not long. Yeah, Buddy wants to hide his head. But look, I don't look. It's over. I'm sorry. The Matt McMahon era is over. There's no way to salvage it. There's no way to spin it. There's no way to say, yeah, he's got a couple of players hurt. I get it. When you look at that crowd last night, and I was receiving photos and what it looked like, the Boo Birds are out. They're totally outclassed, outcoached. There's nothing that you can do to sell another year of Matt McMahon if you were to retain him. I understand that there's possibly some media out there that are saying that the LSU administration doesn't have the stomach to cut loose $7.44 million or whatever the exact buyout number will be at the end of this season. You're going to hold on to that for another year. How do you sell that to the fan base? I'll tell you what you're doing if you hold on to McMahon for another year. You're basically saying we don't give a shit about LSU basketball anymore here in Baton Rouge. You're giving up. And it's the Miami Marlins. You're basically saying we're going to collect the money for the TV contract, and we're going to do it bare bones, and we just don't care. And the fans can twist the wind. But why do I think that's not going to happen? I'll tell you why, because Verge Alsbury's approval rating right now is about 95 to 100% because of Lane Kiffin. He wants to see that get cut in half overnight. If he holds on to McMahon, that's what's going to happen. And so it's just not the old days where you could say, yeah, it's rough. Like when John Brady took over from Dale Brown and he had Chico Potts and people like that on his roster.
I love Chico.
But he had Stroube, Swift, and others signed and ready to come in, and you could point to something and say, look at that recruiting class that he's coming in. Well, Matt McMahon doesn't have a Shaq. He doesn't have a Chris Jackson. He doesn't have a Stanley Roberts. There's no Big Baby or a Tyrus Thomas or a Brandon Bass on the way. And so what does a fan look forward to the next season if you say you're holding on to Matt McMahon? That's my rant. It's over.
All I'm going to add is that I do think we need to interject a couple of things. The guy can't get a break.
I get it. And
No, I know, but
we always have to start it. You like Matt
Jalen
McMahon.
Reed was coming back, and bless that guy's heart. He worked his tail off, got hurt early. DJ Thomas, who they paid over $1 million for from Vegas, has been hurt. There's been a lot of questions. Is he hurt? Is he opting out? Matt McMahon to a media guy says he's not opting out. He's been hurt. So he hadn't gotten any breaks. But here's the problem I have. They played Mississippi State. And we were doing this show. And Mike and I both tell you we do not like to go up against live sports. You got to put your ego in the closet and say, people are going to watch you, you're going to watch LSU athletics. But we knew that was going to be a tough game. 10 minutes into the show, they're down 20-6 or 30-10 or whatever it was. Mississippi State, South Carolina, a team they were favored by 6.5, 7 points in the PMAC. They're down 50-25 at halftime. Last night, I've never seen a difference in coaching, athleticism, game plan. Once again, laying an effing egg at the start of the game. You'd have no home court advantage. And nobody likes to beat up Matt McMahon, but he's in over his head. He's not an SEC coach.
He doesn't want to ask for money. He doesn't want to raise money.
They gave him extra money last year.
And by the way, buddy, okay, let's say you say, you know, we're going to really give him everything he needs. He's near the bottom of the league in NIL money, and we're going to up it. Okay, you up it.
They did that last year.
All right, you do it again. All right. Do you think if he's going against a blue blood for a marquee player that he's going to get him just because he's going to match him for dollars? You think they want to come here? No.
Well, the more pertinent question to me is...
And I just want to add one other thing.
Yeah.
If you were involved in the Johnny Jones hire, and it was of your opinion he should have gotten the job then, and you know who you are, you know, maybe you were on the board of supervisors at one time, you know, those type of people, you need to sit this one out. We don't want to hear from you anymore.
Well, I was just going to add, I think
you have no stroke when it comes to this.
But here's the question, Mike, okay? I don't know how much. What are we hearing? $40 million for the football team this year? Kind of ballpark when they signed everybody? $40 million? Is that what it's going to come out to? Somewhere in that neighborhood? Would I want to give $5 million more to basketball and take away $5 million from football? Jay Johnson needs more NIL money. So it's all about priorities. But here's the other problem. 70% of the guys on the team this year are one and done. Pablo Tamba, Nwoko. DJ Thomas is not coming back to this hellhole. I mean, so you got to restart again next year. Now, we're not trying to beat up Matt McMahon, but what we're asking is this. How important is men's basketball to you, your pocketbook? Do you care about the games? Do you set your weekend? Because football, women's basketball, men's baseball, gymnastics, and even softball with her core group, they have their fan base.
I will say this. For the amount of losing in bad basketball that's been on display for how many years now?
Ever since Wade left.
I'm sorry, but Matt McMahon has got it easier than any other LSU coach before him based on the losses and the amount of people who have been livid about it and sports talk show hosts and local media. He has gotten a pass all the way through. Not anymore. It's done.
Well, here's the last thing I'm going to interject, is 2 years ago, you beat Kentucky and John Calipari on a last-second shot by Terrell Reed. Guess what? They couldn't come to an agreement, and you didn't sign that guy. So what I'm saying to you is that you gave them more money. These guys are almost all full up with eligibility. You probably got 3 or 4 guys coming back next year. You got to put another $10+ million into it. But you beat Calipari in Kentucky 2 years ago, and you saw the discrepancy and the difference between Calipari and Arkansas last night. That was like watching a pro team against a bad college team. And unfortunately, it is a long road to hoe, and nobody enjoys it. But I'll ask that question. All the fans out there, do you really care about men's basketball when women's basketball is winning a natty, baseball's winning a natty? You just got Kiffin, who's going to be expected to be in the playoffs. Beth Torina, she's got to get to OKC, and gymnastics expected every year to get in the Final Four.
And by the way,
do people care about men's basketball?
I don't have the amounts in front of me, but there's been $500,000 to $1 million that Jay probably needed for baseball, but they're giving men's basketball.
That's what I'm talking about.
A fuller amount, okay? The PMAC, the secondary prices, I showed you the chart on the show today to try and get a ticket for the South Carolina game. It's a sellout. But unfortunately, women's basketball is a big loser. $9 million, what's the total?
Women's basketball, I think.
How much it loses?
8.5.
So even though they pack the arena and the fan base loves it, it loses money big time. Okay? Conversely, nobody goes to men's basketball games and it makes money.
Well, that's because of the TV contract.
Right.
And the postseason.
Gymnastics sold out.
All I'll say was this. If you're going to bring Matt McMahon back next year, please get a corporate sponsor, and it should probably be a funeral home, because that's what it's like going to the game. It is really, really tough. I got
Matt McMahon post-game last night. Normally I put it up. I didn't put it up. So usually there's a copy from LSU and a copy from TigerBait on YouTube. I didn't put mine up. LSU had it all to themselves. They had 160 views last time I looked. In a major sport at LSU, the head coach's post-game gets 160 views because nobody gives a shit anymore.
I'm usually the spicy one throwing the bombs around. Hey, listen, we're not in bad moods, but we are asking, and we want input from you guys and girls and kids. But really, where do you think, I'll ask this final question, there are only limited dollars that you can spend on LSU football with your disposable income.
Yep.
Let's go through it real quick. Football, right? Now, it's a good thing they made the change because people were starting to get the red ass and pissed off because they went to BK on the road, Vegas, A&M, Florida, and they got all those losses. But football is number one, season tickets, priority money. What do you think is the next ladder for baseball? And I'm talking about going to games, season tickets, traveling.
And by the way, I'm told that I talked to someone the other day who said he was ready to cut a check that day, local doctor, physician. He said every scrimmage. He said he was willing to cut the TAF a $50,000 check for LSU baseball if they put him in this area of seats where hardly anybody sits, and they wouldn't take his money. So there's a lot of dumbassery in LSU, okay? And I'll just say something else. I'm not just venting this just because I want to be provocative. Just so you know, I grew up in the PMAC. LSU men's basketball was my sport. I grew up going to Dale Brown basketball camps. My family had season ticket holders. I was there for Kyle Macy's shot. I was there from Kenny Higgs all the way through Shaq and Chris Jackson. Those were my years. I was there for the glory years. And to see what LSU basketball has become and what has happened, it's a shame. And then you think about what I was saying earlier about the pass that Matt McMahon's got. You think John Brady would have got a pass like that?
I have John on the show.
I mean, I used to get after Coach Brady. The fans didn't give him the mulligans that they have been giving Matt McMahon.
Well, I get calls from people saying, "Can you get Brady to coach the team and McMahon be the announcer?" I mean, it's got that bad. But I'm gonna just ask the question again: where is men's basketball on your priority list on what you watch, what you go to, what you spend your money on, and what you care?
I'm tired.
And it's 5th or 6th right now.
You know the last time I filled out an NCAA bracket? You know why I don't? Because I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because LSU's not in it.
Yeah. Well, let's give Dale credit for that now.
LSU's not involved anymore.
10 straight years of making the NCAA. That Sunday selection
It's a joke
show
of a basketball
used to
school.
be a lot of fun. All right, so we've gotten some BP. We've got some blood pressure pills to take on Matt McMahon. But once again,
Get it right. LSU men's basketball can be fantastic.
football, baseball, women's basketball, gymnastics. Who am I forgetting? Who else is people spend money and go? Softball's got a group, but they're getting a little.
She's on the clock too.
They're getting a little bit antsy because they hadn't been to OKC in a while.
Yeah.
So, but my point of it is that if LSU's administration doesn't care, how are the fans going to care, Mike? How? When you go to that game, I had 3 people. I got a bunch of people that still go. And my buddy Chris K sat there and said, look at this. Max McKinnon is the best shooter on LSU's team, and Arkansas put that best defensive player on him, number 1 last night. He couldn't get a shot off, and they never made an adjustment. That's the other problem.
You're gonna hold on to Matt McMahon for another year. What message does that send when you're talking about trying to build a $500 million arena? Right?
Well, no.
What are you gonna put in there?
That arena.
We're gonna have Leonard Skinner reunion tours every weekend.
I hope I'm still around when that arena is built. You know, in Louisiana,
You're gonna be around.
Over
Quit being more
budget and not on time.
Yeah.
Louisiana politics.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna be there. You're gonna be at the ribbon cutting.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Mike's
okay.
a little spicy tonight, folks.
All right. Well, we went a little bit longer than I wanted to, and now let's talk LSU women's basketball and Saturday night. And I'll tell you what. Let me do this first. Exactly, Dr. Butler. Mike will tell us how he really feels about basketball soon. You have to have a high charisma coach in that position. Who have been the most successful people? And John Brady has charisma, right? He has some. Look what he did. He went to a Final Four. Dale Brown, Final Fours. Will Wade, postseason. Loads of charisma. Would have drugged the program down? Trent Johnson, Johnny Jones, Matt McMahon. No charisma.
Well, I will say this.
You have to have a coach you can go. You have to have a Bruce Pearl. You have to have a Kim Mulkey. You have to have a brash, great in front of a microphone, someone who's going to talk to the Rotary, and you're calling your buddy who you know is a member of the Rotary to see if you can be their guest because you can't wait to hear the coach speak. That's what you have to have.
But, Mike, he did follow Will Wade, which was tough act. And he's also on side of Kim Mulkey, which is a tough act. And so he's got a long way to go.
All right.
But look, Coach, don't take it personal. But you've got to get these kids ready to play.
It's like we don't.
No, he's got to get them ready to play.
We always say it. We like Matt McMahon. How can you not like Matt McMahon?
Super nice guy.
It's just.
It
has nothing to do with like.
This is the 3rd game at home where they have been down 20 or more at halftime. That's inexcusable, folks.
Yep.
When you're making what do you make a year? 2.7?
Yep.
Something like that? Ridiculous.
All right. This weekend, Capital City Grill. You're in town for the series. Eggs Benedict right there on your screen. Here you go. Chicken and waffles, the dream cake. Go eat brunch before you head to the box Sunday. From at 11 a.m., they start serving brunch. You can load up, head to Alex Box, and load up so you're not paying all the high concession prices at Alex Box. Sorry, Jay, but the fans still tell me that they're expensive. But yeah, Capital City Grill, 100 Lafayette Street, downtown Baton Rouge. And if you want just the regular fare, you want a club sandwich, a great cheeseburger, they've got it all, hand-cut French fries, a great French dip sandwich, one of my favorite in town, and just a great experience over at Capital City Grill. Get the carrot cake. It is the best in town. And all right, let's talk some LSU women's basketball. South Carolina coming to town. Is this the year that LSU breaks through and beats Dawn Staley? 2 weeks ago, before the trip to Texas in the last game against Auburn, I would have said, I think this is the year. Couple of performances with insane amount of turnover. Look, you better cut those turnovers in half, or you're going to have no chance. Regardless of the black T-shirts, that place is going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. I'm gonna put a 9-volt battery in my decibel meter. I bet you we're going to get some 120s and 130s in that PMAC. I'm going to measure it Saturday night. It's going to get loud. And so the fans are going to be there. Need Michaela Williams to hit a bunch of threes. You need to get some rebounds, but you got to avoid the turnovers. My fear is Full Wally is going to want to have a great performance against a road team, and maybe press a little bit too much, and that's when I'm worried about her in turnovers. Jada Richard needs to have a big night.
Well,
and of course, Flaugier.
Yeah, I just get ready. Raven Johnson is the glue on the Carolina team. She's been there for a long time. She scores when they need her. She distributes the basketball. She's a savvy defender. Jada Richard's had a great year. Off with her shot just a little bit. Going back to that Texas fourth quarter, I thought they played more individual and less as a team. Got to pass the basketball. Got to get rebounds. Got to stay out of foul trouble. And as you alluded to, Michaela, Flaugier, and Fulwally have been having 3 turnovers each in these big games. But, man, when Michaela Williams was born to shoot a jump shot. I've never seen a prettier jump shot from an LSU player. No, Simone, all those other ones. But she was born to shoot that jump shot. Remember when you started following her and got her on here? She's come a long way. Remember you first interviewed her? She didn't want to say nothing. Now she is one of the vocal leaders. Flaugier, she's got to start fast. When she starts fast, she gets into her game. But don't forget, with Zakiya and Grace Knox, they're going to be undersized. You're going to get pushed and shoved. Well, interesting to see how the refs call. Do they let it play? I thought Texas got physical in the fourth quarter. Not a lot of calls. Mama, of course, Mama, as we know, Amaya Joyner and Kate Koval. Kate Koval needs to have a big game Saturday night. 6'5" from Notre Dame. Full Wiley, you know this is personal for her. This is a personal game, and I know Coach Mulkey's going to sit down and talk to her and say, look, let the game come to you. Everybody knows what you can do. I know you want to prove those people wrong or whatever, but if LSU can get it. 2 years ago, they played super, and then Carolina stole it, really, in the fourth quarter. And so you got to finish it. The crowd's going to be incredible. And, oh, by the way, we have never heard of it. Maybe this is a good luck charm. They did wear the black jerseys against Georgia on the road. So LSU wearing black jerseys. They're going to have a blackout. We've never seen it before. Interesting to see how that plays out. But game day will be there. Tip-off is 7:40. Game day will do the stuff before. I was asking you if you remembered. I think this one's going to even be more hype this year.
It is. And big recruiting group of recruiting visitors that are going to be there. Number 1 overall prospect in the country, Kalina Smith from Ontario, California, Ontario Christian, and she's a point guard, 5'6", big scorer. Everybody wants her, battling UConn, South Carolina. A couple of the girls that are visiting this weekend both have South Carolina on their list. Zaniyah Johnson from Biloxi, Mississippi also has South Carolina on her list as well. So, and she's a 5-star center from Biloxi. And Caroline Bradley, who we've done a lot with on TigerBait, will be there again. Number 1 center in the country from Oak Grove, Louisiana, and there's going to be others there. So, KJ Ackery from Albany, Georgia, will be there.
17 is the number of discussion. We talked about it. The LSU baseball games that were delayed all finished at 117. There were 2 or 3 of those that finished at 117. And 17, unfortunately, is the number of times that Carolina has beaten LSU women's basketball in 14 years. I don't know exactly how many that's been with Kim. It's been, 4 or 5 at the most. But is this you broke the streak with 5 losing games in the opening football. I'd love to see it. I'm not ready to predict it. You've got a better vibe on it. But I think if they protect the basketball, stay out of foul trouble, and make free throws down the stretch, they win something like 82-81. They need the ball Saturday night. Can you dig it?
They need the shots to fall. They need to stop with the turnovers. Full Wiley needs to listen to Coach Mulkey. She needs to have a plan when she goes 100 miles an hour down the paint. Don't just figure it out as you go. That's not going to work against her former teammates. And I like some of the stuff they've been doing with ball movement and getting Koval on the move towards the basket, and she's had some nice shots there. It all has to click. You have to do everything right. This is like LSU playing Alabama in football. You got to do everything right. You make turnovers, and you're going to pay the price.
And you will see both coaches on the sidelines griping at the officials to get that next call. There's one female referee that comes in from time to time, and her and Kim Mulkey don't fry fish. So interesting to see how they call this game because Carolina's going to be bigger. They've got more down low, but the trio, man, if Michaela hits her first couple of shots, Flaugier with the scoop and score, and then Full Wally doing what she does, and then the other people, all the other guys and girls, hey, like the way Bella Hines is coming in. Boy, Sakai has been fantastic.
Grace Knox.
Grace Knox been fantastic. Koval and Joyner step up. You got a 1-point, 2-point victory, and that place will go crazy. But you know Kim Mulkey is going to be, man, she gets excited when those ladies do what because they teach them. Bob Starkey's going to go crazy too. Dribble, drive, penetration. You cannot let them dribble and dish it off for a 5-footer. They've done a better job of that. Big matchup, Raven Johnson, Jada Richard.
I'll tell you something else. I get there usually pretty early, like
hour or so before?
more than that.
Oh.
Hour and a half, 2 hours before. 2 hours for this one, probably, because game day is going to be there.
They serve a meal?
I don't eat it.
Okay, I was joking. 2 hours before the women's game, that's a lot for me.
Yeah.
What's your gut feeling?
I noticed.
Do they pull the upset?
This is what I noticed before, that I think the LSU women's team, they get out and shoot around way too early. I think by the time there's tip-off, they burned a lot of energy already. If you had a 7 o'clock tip-off, I think they're out there shooting way too many shots at 5. And I watch when South Carolina comes out, and they don't do that. And so when you're in the fourth.
That is a great observation, because Ben McDonald told me a very similar story, that when he was at Baltimore, he would go and warm up and throw 70, 80 pitchers and warm up, and his pitching coach said, "Why are you going to do that? You got to save some of that." I think you made a great point.
I've watched the LSU women's basketball team do that when South Carolina, and I think they expend way too much in shoot around. And I'm not talking about just being loose and maybe playing horse against Gary Reedus. I'm talking about legit going full speed, and I think they need to
especially
and Mulkey doesn't arrive early. Let's say there's a 7 o'clock tip-off. I bet she arrives at 6:15.
Yeah. But you make a great point, because when you do get caught in basketball, you're short, and you got to have those legs. You got to make those shots late. And so, excellent observation. They're not going to listen to you and me on that, but I think that's a great observation. Ben said that same story, though, about you can spin. I asked him about, look, if you're a golfer and you're on your driving range, you might hit it like crap on the driving range, and then you get on the course and you hit it great, but you never know. And if you're hitting it 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row, Michaela, you don't need to make 20.
Michaela's one of the ones that's out there always real early.
But I'm saying you don't need to make 20 in a row. Get your stroke and save that energy. You got to finish in the fourth quarter. And you Tiger fans have got to get them over the hump. How many times is there going to be a bitch session with a bad call and people are going to go crazy and say, "Ref, you suck"? How many times? I'm saying at least 4 Saturday night.
Rodney with a super chat, no comment, but I thank you for that, Rodney, big time. And got a few more comments than I need to get, but I need to also do this real quick. There it is on your screen, Baye's Oyster Bar. Let me read off some of these things. You got to get to North Boulevard, the old Jolie Pearl. Barbecue Nola-style oysters, grilled oysters in a Worcestershire sauce, butter sauce with garlic, rosemary, and Tabasco. Brie and bacon oysters, grilled oysters with bacon and creamy brie cheese sauce. Classic char grilled. Of course, that's your grilled oysters with the butter, garlic, lemon juice, and fresh herbs. The corn mokshu, this one's my favorite. Baked oysters with a mixture of corn, bell peppers, and fresh herbs and bechamel sauce. Oysters Bienville, the traditional baked oysters with shrimp, mushrooms, bell peppers, white wine, and breadcrumbs. And then the oysters Rockefeller, traditional baked oysters with spinach, garlic, onions, Parmesan cheese, and Pernod. I love those as well. There's a lot of them on there, and you can see them on your screen. Get to Baye's Oyster Bar, downtown Baton Rouge. Again, it's It's your premier oyster spot here in town, 315 North Boulevard. They got a great turkey brie and bacon sandwich, a classic roast beef po' boy, top-notch bourbon whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection. All right, let's see. All right, buddy, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, just tonight, I'm changing up sponsors every night on these Wednesday night show, and I give a shout out to Greystone Golf and Country Club, the secret of the South no longer. Everybody knows about it. 667-6744. Public play, private play. Do a great job with the greens, always in great shape. Get on over there, and they have it all for you, folks. Tennis, workout, swimming, golf, social, and a great community who had to overcome, Mike, that flood of 2016. And one thing that we know about Louisiana people, there is a resiliency that does not keep people down. We were talking about Drew Brees today, first ballot Hall of Fame. Drew Brees and Sean Payton to bring the Saints in New Orleans a Super Bowl after what happened at Katrina. That's what we do in Louisiana, overcoming obstacles. So let's see if you can help LSU ladies get over the finish line. But once again, thanks to all of our great folks over at Dirk and everybody over at Greystone.
I got Rodney's question. He says, why does women's basketball lose money? Is it because they lose money because they don't have the money is made in TV contracts. ESPN, ABC, et cetera, do not pay big money for women's basketball, despite the fact that LSU, when they play, draw a big number. But does Vanderbilt, Missouri draw a number? You see what I'm saying?
All right, I'm making Kim Mulkey
Does
say
that
yes.
change? Does that change at some point? We've seen the growth of women's basketball. Maybe it does. And even if you said, okay, we're going to increase ticket prices $2 or $3 a piece, you still wouldn't make up that $9 million. It wouldn't come close. And then what do? Let's say you make LSU's ticket prices one of the highest in the country. All right, Kim Mulkey retires, depending on who they hire. Who's going to replace her and equal her? Nobody. Let's say it takes a step back. Do you lower prices at that point? No, you don't lower prices. So you keep those prices about where they're at. The bottom line is it's a TV contract deal. But look, LSU's playing in prime time on Valentine's Day night on a Saturday night on ABC. What does that tell you about this?
I don't want to hear the
It's
R
almost
word.
like you need Kim Mulkey to be like a Jerry Jones and go do her own deals off to the side.
I don't want to hear the R word with Kim Mulkey. Everybody wants to enjoy her. By the way, guys, I want to give you a little tip. It is Valentine's night and all weekend long. And I have a lot of friends that tell me, buddy, Valentine's is one of the most important holidays. We talk about Christmas and this now. But really, I don't care if it's a card. I don't care if it's candy. I don't care if it's a bottle of wine or whatever. Do something special for your sweet lady. Guys would be screwed up.
They seem like, what's the flower? Peonies? Peonies?
Well, I'm just saying, but we would be so screwed up if we didn't have the women of our life. So,
I just
ladies, we
butchered
give
that,
you a
didn't I?
shout out. Hope the man treats you well. And I'm calling it right now. You can call me a crazy old foggy man. 84-81, LSU beats South Carolina Saturday night.
And he's got LSU waxing Clemson in the opener and scoring over 40 and beating Ole Miss and Oxford.
They will rub it in on those Webbles, third week in September. And, oh, by the way, we're trying to get a fish fry with Dabo Sweeney and Pete Golden, having trouble lining up right now. Look, LSU's going to show Clemson what the real Death Valley is in week one. Going to take care of business, Louisiana Tech, and they're going to go up and open up a can of WA on Ole Miss. Whoop is the first word. You know the second word.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button, subscribe. Go to TigerBait and subscribe. We want to have you as a subscriber to our website. We've got a lot of great stuff there. And we're on the message boards day and night, and our traffic's increasing. And we really want to have you, if you're an LSU fan, be a subscriber to our premium content. Stay tuned to TigerBait. Stay tuned to this channel. We got a lot coming your way throughout the coming weekend. Is this going to be a big LSU sports weekend? All right, everybody. Good night.